All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to some full-length videos. This one is by request of a protege. And it's something I haven't expanded on in quite some time, and it's something that all INFJs, but particularly males, must reflect on and must be aware of. But also, for those of you that are trying to get close to an INFJ, particularly in a romantic sense, it's something you should know too, because, you can't lump INFJs in any real category. Like the walking paradox thing is very much true. And particularly with modern culture, it's like you can't put INFJs in the same category as other guys. And it's tough. A lot of times I've seen like, oh, this can't be for real. This is an act, because when you are the rarest of the rare, you become almost mythical, like you don't exist. Like I've said in a video, and I'll probably link it, is INFJ men are like thylacines, which is the Tasmanian tiger that may or may not be extinct or extremely rare, so rare that they're thought to not exist anymore. But what I want to pontificate about is INFJ tunnel vision and how that pertains to things, particularly love, but also just in general. So, what are the two main things that rule the mind of an INFJ? In other words, what do we want more than anything? What is, I'll say it in the witchcraft language, and I guess I can reveal it. Neris nervash, which is, in some witchcraft traditions, what I desire most. You have to say it in, like this pain, distraught voice. But it's part of incantations. What INFJs desire most, it's two things. And in this order, first and foremost is unconditional love. That true connection with somebody where there's not only that physical attraction. When I mean by physical attraction, I mean like through the roof sexual tension that doesn't go away. And we'll get into that. But also that deep understanding of where there's just that mutual respect and understanding where like you can look at each other from across the room and almost communicate telepathically. You can finish each other's sentences. That kind of thing. It's not just, wow, they're so hot, bro. Oh, I gotta hit that, bro. No, it's something like real, that real chemistry that is oh so rare, because I think, my theory is why a lot of marriages fail, and, why a lot of people are unhappy in relationships is because they're in relationships that are based on timing. Where it's like, well, I'm not really into this person, but all my friends are in relationships, and he's not taking no for an answer, and it's the right place at the right time, and next thing you know, 6 years have passed, and it's, I guess we should get, everybody I know is married, and we've been together forever, and to start again, it's just that you become comfortable with something that is uncomfortable, and you normalize it. I have found, and I say this all the time in my videos, but I have found the people I know that are married and happy had to overcome obstacles, be it somebody had to move, it started as a love triangle, somebody, there was an interest, but somebody wasn't ready to date. Like it's one of those where it's like one of the parties was single, but they were hurt really bad, and even though the other person was exactly their type and they admit it, they try, oh, it's not the right time. Yeah, well, guess what? When you meet someone who truly is your type, you don't find too many of those. It's not like, oh, well, in a couple months when I'm ready, I'll just find another one. Nah, it's that's like an every couple year thing if you're lucky, and it gets harder. Trust me, it gets even rarer once you past 30, especially if you're like, well, I don't want someone with kids to somebody else. Because typically women don't want a guy with children to another woman. And here's something that, just keeping in true honesty, I will give credit to the red pill community. It is true that men have no biological imperative to take care of a child that isn't theirs. I mean, in terms of like in a daily thing, I'm not talking as like, like a godfather, recurring uncle kind of status thing, because I have that with quite a few babies, and, but I'm not their, their caregiver on a day-to-day basis kind of thing. Yeah. So, getting deeper into my point, the tunnel vision. So, when an INFJ believes they have that connection with somebody, it consumes us. It consumes us because the thing that we want the most is just beyond our grasp. And the NITI loops swirl. What am I doing wrong? What could I have said differently? What could I have said that was taken the wrong way? What should I have said in this situation? If only I knew now what I knew then. And on it spins. But the fact of the matter is that's all crap. That whole wall, if I said this at this time, because it's not either it's there or it's not. Now, in any, here's a bit more of a paradox. When somebody isn't really into you, it's easier to get them to go out with you. Like if it's just something as simple as a physical attraction, then it's like, well, I'll go out once, But when there is that like seemingly deep connection very early on, especially when you don't know someone that well, but it's very intense right off the bat, that's scary because especially if it's on both sides, because neither party wants to admit that like they're catching major feelings for somebody new, because societally, there's these rules that you're supposed to do this, this, and this, and it totally negates like the esoteric, where I'm talking things like spiritual connections, soulmates, twin flames, astrology, that kind of thing. And I'm not saying that's everything, but it certainly is a factor. Particularly the older you get, because you may not know off the bat that part of that connection could be because not only could a person be your type, but they could also have shared similar challenges in life and have similar, emotional scars, and thus unspoken understanding, nonverbal communication. And this is especially true with INFJs being intuitives, is, we can look at someone in the eyes and kind of see, like, are they empathetic? Are they materialistic? Can I trust them? But also we can see things like, oh, I see pain in her eyes. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's been through some shit. And if the INFJ typically has been through some shit, because it ain't easy to be me or us, we can empathize with that and understand it. And especially, narcissistic abuse and that kind of thing. So, but that can be intimidating. It can be in other ways too, like, perhaps like two immigrants who are, on the verge of a potential relationship, they would have a similar struggle to, connect over. But the tunnel vision is inescapable, particularly in this sense, because again, unconditional love, thing we desire most. And more of an INFJ paradox, while we will go to the ends of the earth, fight and die for those we love, simply getting a fair shot to prove ourselves seems to be as elusive as winning the lottery, because for whatever reason, I don't know, even at my age, despite my vast knowledge of, the esoteric and the occult and living life as an INFJ, I don't understand why it's so hard for INFJs to simply be given a chance to truly prove themselves. And for an INFJ, this would typically be, a decent amount of time, I'm talking hours, of a one-on-one conversation where we can truly let our guard down, because we're not the best in large groups. Like the older we get, we can handle it. I mean, I handle it better than most INFJs, but that's the, model actor training shit. But yeah, we just don't seem to get that chance. And it's kind of funny because, and this might be my personal experience, but a lot of times when I don't get this chance, it's even the female who's the aggressor pushing me to pursue her. And then I, do what she wants. And then the chance to prove oneself doesn't happen. Sometimes these women are even quite sexually aggressive. Yeah. It's like, oh, you jumped me, but now we can't go out, just the two of us, but you jumped me. This makes no sense. And it's like, in some cases, Yeah, it's like, but everybody around us gives me shit about our sexual tension. Everybody sees this. Everybody comments about it. Everybody talks about it. They give us nicknames, and these are all, an amalgamation of various experiences. Some at work, some at the gym, some, yeah. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense, but with INFJs, very little does. The other thing that is a factor with INFJ tunnel vision, which should, you would think, put women at ease, is given our current hookup culture, is that the vast majority of INFJs, including this one, are demisexual, meaning we have to have an emotional connection to want to be, we'll say, for you to romantically involved with somebody. And when we do so, when that connection is formed, no, we only want that person. Others can try to jump us quite aggressively and lacking, let's say, a tire, and still we push them away. That's happened more times than I'll admit, and people, yeah, I've caught a lot of shit for that. But doesn't matter how physically attractive they are. The idea of cheating doesn't it it's just not a thing for us at all. It's not even a temptation. Not even a temptation when the opportunity is literally laid in front of us. Um, and also with us, like, that, the idea of like passion and attraction and lust dying over time, not a thing. No, it's all or nothing. If we're into somebody, we're into them, and that doesn't fade. In fact, it usually only gets stronger the closer you get, and the more trust builds, because INFJs, trust issues, that whole thing. So that's part of the paradox. Another part, to a lesser degree, INFJs can get tunnel vision on a goal, especially with careers. Our identities are very much, and a lot of times, wrapped in our careers, particularly if we don't have unconditional love. And INFJ men in particular have hero complexes, saith the ex-firefighter. Yeah. So the idea of us having some kind of purpose that allows us to satiate that hero complex can, especially if our life is completely adrift and we have nothing that we deem of meaning, because material things can't fill that void. Alcohol and drugs can't fill that void. Just take my word on that one. But we'll, go into hermit mode where basically our whole life may be working out and studying, preparing and reading and gaining as much knowledge about, say, this particular place of employment that you're applying to, say, I don't know, a fire department, where you know the ins and outs of not only the history of the department, but the careers and all the minutia of the people interviewing you, and you're in the best shape of anybody in your academy class, because getting that title, having that badge, that's gonna fill that hole. And take it from me, it doesn't, because for years I thought that when I was cheated out of that job the first time, at the beginning of the Great Recession. And in 2020 I finally got, which was so elusive, and only to learn that what I thought was my lost virtue, what I thought would give me purpose and meaning, and it was my dream job, that hole still isn't void. That's how important unconditional love is for us. And no amount of money or travel or extravagance or mind-altering intoxicants can ever fill that void. It's inescapable. It can be dormant at times, because if an INFJ isn't around somebody that they genuinely have a connection with, they're not just going to form a connection with whoever's around. It's either you're the right type or you're not. There's no settling. All or nothing. It's not like, well, better than being alone. No, never. Not once. Not even if they jump you. So that is a little bit more on INFJ tunnel vision, what it's like to deal with. So if you relate to this video, you're likely suffering from it, and you should probably check out my INFJ playlist, and you should also, support me creating further knowledge that could help you by joining my Patreon, which is linked in the comment section. Come on, $5 a month. $5 a month. It's what, one less Chick-fil-A sandwich a month? Yeah, think of how many videos I put up, and be motivated to do more. I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe if you haven't. That is free. And helps me defy the status quo more and have this knowledge reach more people and potentially help break the chains of those living their lives based on fate and timing and doing what they're told and not what they desire, which is, well, not exercising your free will. Hail Lilith.